YouTube, what the crap's going on? HeirofCarthage here. Wanted to do a little video and test out. Some of you have been asking me questions about the ethereal thanes from the dwarfs. What are the best ways to kill them or deal with them? Because I hear a lot of you saying that you're actually having a really tough time taking these guys out. They are tough units. I don't know that there's just like any one-hit wonders for these guys, but we're going to test a few things here, and I'm going to show you a few things that may help you get rid of them. Ethereal units have a large magic physical resistance. If we take a look at it, yeah, 80% physical resistance for anything that's ethereal, and that includes like Cairn Wraiths and other stuff. So how do you get around that physical resistance? Well, it's magical damage. That's going to be the best way to do damage to one of these ethereal dwarfs. So a direct damage spell like Spirit Leech, for instance, is just going to rip hit points straight off this guy. That one's, what is that one? Extended cast range. Yeah, I'm not worried about that one. So then I got Gaze of Nagash. This is magic missiles. It does magic damage as well. This one does increase number of missiles. Let's try out the Gaze of Nagash on this guy. So I got King Lun Iron Hammer over here. Yeah, you can see it does pretty immense damage to him. And then if I combine that with, say, like Spirit Leech or something, let's see how I do. Should be able to do quite a lot of damage. So I've got Strigoi here for this particular test because he's got a lot of magic. So you can see that we've done pretty significant damage to King Lun Iron Hammer. He's going to have to use his healing potion. Yeah, I gave him a healing potion because people are going to bring healing potions on these guys. You can see it again, it makes it tough. He pretty much just healed himself right back up. He got 50 speed, so I can outrun him. I'm going to have to outrun Iron Hammer again and like build up some more magic. Of course, this is just a one-on-one type scenario, but you can see with the healing potion, yes, these dwarf guys are very, very tough. He just healed back most of his hit points after taking severe magic damage from this guy. So yeah, I mean, they're absolutely tough. I think it was... I say it may be a little bit much to have given these guys the healing potion after all the other strength that they have, but at the same time, they have pretty low hit points, and if they didn't get the healing potion, and once people figured out this whole magic thing, I'm pretty sure that these guys would die really, really easily. Now, of course, some factions have access to better magic damage than others, and you're going to see that here. I mean, obviously the vampire counts here have a pretty nice variety, and you can see the damage. So Spirit Leech appears to be very good versus this guy. It does have a little more cooldown time, but again, this one-on-one scenario is not exactly like super likely, but I'm just showing you this is how you do as much damage to these guys, maybe with a character with Lore of Death, or something like Gaze of Nagash here. With the vampires, but I'm not going to use Gaze of Nagash. I'm just going to use Spirit Leech. We've made him use his Potion of Toughness. At this point, we should be able to finish him off. So again, remember though, 80% physical resistance, so he's going to ignore 80% of the damage coming from Strigoi. That's why they do so well. But he's also going to cause really nice damage against me in return, including magic damage. But you can see that once Strigoi is able to kind of melt him down a little bit there, I'm able to bring the fight in and make it a lot closer. So I'll just keep attacking. Look at Strigoi getting staggered by this guy. Wow, that's not going to make it any easier either. But you can definitely see that the magic Strigoi has pays off in the end. See, look at that. He gets a hit, didn't even do any damage to the Thane. At least it didn't register yet. No, still hasn't registered. He's not doing any... There, he finally got a hit in. And I can finally kill him with this. So, I mean, even with the magic, you can see that, I mean, this Thane can tank a significant amount of damage. But again, you can see that it's magic that's going to do the most damage to him the fastest. You saw how when Strigoi was in combat with him right there, he's going to be highly ineffective. So I'll show you what to look for real quick. Let's end the battle. So if you want to do damage against ethereal units, you can use magic damage in the form of spells, or you can look for units that actually do magical attacks. Interestingly enough, one such unit that does magical attacks is actually going to be Thorgrim. So if you were in a Dwarf Civil War, right here, magical attacks. Let's see how Thorgrim stacks up against this Thane. Figure this one might be fun. We'll give Thorgrim some extra abilities and all this stuff to, signify him being there. So let's try this one real fast. I know I'm not cutting out the loading screens on this one because I'll just kind of talk to you about some different stuff while we're in the loading screens. So yeah, the other problem you're going to face whenever you're up against these ethereal thanes is that a lot of the dwarf units have been made to be significantly stronger after this patch. They have these regiments renown, they have rangers with great weapons, they have a lot of extra tools that were given to them that can help them in significant ways. So I think you're going to find that the dwarfs are not to be underestimated. I don't think that they're all of a sudden one of the best factions in the game by any means. Look at the damage Thorgrim did to this guy because he has magical attacks. Okay, the AI is dumb and they use their potion right away, but I say they're dumb. It's helping him keep him healed. But you can see that Thorgrim here, he does significant damage against this this ethereal thane. And you can see that in the return, the Thane hasn't done a ton yet. Now, the Thane will do alright versus Thorgrim. Thorgrim's not one of the best melee lords out there, but in this particular instance, he's going to be quite good. Now, if you were fighting against these Thanes, though, bear in mind there very well could be runesmiths around, ethereal runesmiths helping them. There very well could be a rune lord on an Anvil of Doom, or Belagar Ironhammer, who would give Thorgrim a run for his money. So there's definitely things you're going to have to consider, but I'm just showing you how effective magical attacks are versus an ethereal unit, and you can see they're very effective. Let's fast forward it out, and you can see that Thorgrim has absolutely no problem just pounding the living crap out of that ethereal lord. So magical attacks, people, that's the key. So who else has magical attacks that might be handy for you? Well, Chaos just got some interesting new units. Aspiring Champions, which is a cheap unit at only 550. Magical attacks, you can see right here. They don't have a ton of hit points, but again, they're cheap, so it would be very easy for someone to bring a couple of these guys, 3, 4 of them even. It's not going to be that challenging, and they are pretty worthwhile units. You can see here that it already gives me a huge buff to the balance of power. Let's see how a 550 gold unit here stacks up to King Lun Ironhammer, the ethereal dwarf Thane here. Former king. Let's just see how 1 does against him. I'll have it not be my lord. And let's just see how 1 aspiring champion can perform here. Can they kill him in his entirety? I don't know. Let's take a look up close at this too. Might be some fun cinematic looks here. So the ethereal dwarf heroes though are really cool, and they're a lot of fun to use in campaign, and I think they were a really interesting add and made that particular dwarf faction a lot more unique and enjoyable. So I know some of you may be frustrated with them in multiplayer, but I really like it from the sense of what it did to camp. Oh yeah, look at how bad they wreck on this guy. Just look at this. He's doing so little to them, and they are just pooping all over him. One of them easily going to take him out. So yeah, magical attacks. So there he's going to use his healing potion, but even with the healing potion, he's going to get absolutely trashed. And you may have seen a battle of mine today too where I let my Banshees get in combat with these guys. That's absolutely why my Banshees got wrecked. I should have never let them get in combat with this aspiring champion because of the magical damage, and the Banshee is ethereal. You can see that the aspiring champion for only 500 cost easily beats out this Thane in a one-on-one. Now, of course, you may not always get a one-on-one, but the key here is if you're going to send your heroes after these Thanes, support them with the magical attacks on your aspiring champions. That's the best way to call it like that. Let's go take a look at some other units. If we pick the Empire. The Empire has access to Luminarchs, and I think a Luminarch should be pretty darn good against an Ethereal Thane. Let's take a look at this one. Now, of course, they fire slow. It is not unusual, like, so for instance, the Empire could bring an army, and I've seen a couple people troll around and do it, including Ninja Hund on one of his streams. That's actually where I mainly saw this. But you could troll around, for instance, with the Empire, and you could bring a couple of Luminarchs, and then like a bunch of flagellants. Like I said, these guys are unbreakable, and then you just bring a couple like token spears, your lords, and whatever else. And the whole idea behind this army is that you're just going to wreck the heroes of the enemy faction, which this is probably really useful against, say, someone like the Greenskins, who suffer from low leadership, or the vampires. But just watch this. Like, just say, for instance, the dwarfs do have cannons, and cannons can be a significant danger over long range, but the Empire has other tools to help deal with cannons, like some Vanguard Cavalry or something like that. Just watch let's watch what 2 Luminarchs do to this Ethereal Thane. They may be able to hit him with one volley and seal the deal. Now, they cost a whole lot more, but again, if there was multiple Ethereal Dwarf units on the field, these Luminarchs would have the capability to kill all of them from range as long as they could be kept safe. Yeah, he just got zapped. And you can see that it darn well killed him. I don't know if the AI is going to be smart enough to use their potion here. But yeah, a couple of shots like that, and all the dwarf heroes are going to be dead, including their lord, who's not ethereal. So, I mean, the Luminarchs do have a very long reload time. They take considerable amount of time to fire. Looks like mine even going to fire. Luminarchs get weird when you click an attack order. Sometimes you just got to put them on fire at will. They're still not firing. Yeah, like I said, Luminarchs do weird things sometimes. I'm going to, just for the sake, I really want these guys to get a second shot. He used his healing potion there. I don't know why they didn't fire, but if your Luminarch does that, you got to keep an eye on it. Sometimes they get kind of weird like that. Anytime you want to fire. What is obstructed? There's nothing obstructed about this situation. Anybody know why this is happening? Why they're saying my Luminarch is obstructed?
I am prepared.
That is really odd. There is definitely nothing obstructing my Luminarch. I'm sitting here on flat ground. There's no units in front of it. Obstructed. But it's going to fire, it looks like. Yeah, I mean, the damage is severe. I don't know why these guys are acting like they're obstructed. That is really odd. Gonna actually fire there. Maybe it has something to do with how the chariot is sitting or something that's causing it to be obstructed. Let's try coming in without a I don't think we can fire while moving either, so I'll just stop and let it. Okay, it may have been something to do with the way the horses were facing or just something weird like that, I don't know. Yeah, Luminarchs can get the job done, and they can do it much better than that whenever they're firing well. I'm trying to think if there's other units to just kind of point out while I'm in here. I think the silver bullets do magical damage. Let's see how they do. Of course, it may not be real easy to target the Thanes with the silver bullets, just because these guys may not have a good line of sight, but this is just a curiosity thing. You can see that they have magical attacks on their ammunition, so let's check them out. I think this is worthwhile. Also trying to think if there's any other really noteworthy spells and stuff. I think for the green skins, if you're wanting to counter these guys, I think Azag becomes very good in the sense that Azag can do a lot of damage with Spirit Leech. We might ought to test Foot of Gork against them. Foot of Gork does considerable magic damage. I think Foot of Gork's going to be better against multiple combatants, though, so I don't think it's going to be useful, but I just want to find out. Where the heck is this guy going? He's like running for the hills here. Just shoot him. That's so weird. Like, he's just taking. I've never seen the AI. Is he trying to get behind cover? Does the AI know how to do that? I have no idea where this moron's going. There he goes. He's realized that there's nowhere to run at this point. Okay, yeah, the silver bullets do massive damage to this. Let's watch as they fire away. They don't have real great reload, but I think 3 volleys and he's going to be finished. Of course, this is when they have clear line of sight at him. Oh yeah, he's done. So, silver bullets. There you go, there's one more thing. Magical attacks. What about Grail Knights? Are they magical attacks? I can't remember. Let's go to Bretonia, because we haven't looked at them yet. Bretonia, Leoncoeur does not. Lord does not. Grail Knights do have magical attacks, so theoretically they should be good. Pegasus Knights do not. Paladins do not. Alright. Let's check out a unit of Grail Knights. It says on the power bar that it's a good matchup for us. Theoretically, this should be a beatdown on the part of the Grail Knights. why am I doing this over and over again with different units with magical? I'm just trying to show you that you should have a lot of options. Now, just because this is an option, again, remember this is a test where the Thane is completely unsupported. I'm showing you the potential here. You've got to figure out how to make this work in battle, and quite frankly, your opponent probably isn't going to make it easy. He doesn't want you to just wreck his Thane with a magical attack unit. Oh, ouch. That's got to hurt. So yeah, he's not going to want you to do this, and that's understandable. So yeah, you're going to have to think of ways that you can get units like this into the Thanes. Oh wow, look at the wreckage there. Whenever they start landing attacks, they draw this guy down so fast. I wonder if his Potion of Toughness is going to be able to keep up. It's close. His Potion of Toughness is kind of barely outpacing the damage. Looks like it finally did. Whenever the Knights land a series of hits, though, they do a lot of damage. But well, look at that. It healed them all the way up. That was impressive. That Potion of Toughness, man, it's helpful. And like I said, I wanted to add that to him because it's very likely your opponent's going to be using that in combat. Yeah, they sure enough do extensive damage to this Thane. So yeah, and the Grail Knights hold up very well under his attacks. They don't take a whole lot of damage from him. Is it reciprocal, like if a unit like this Thane does magical attacks, if a unit also does magical attacks? I mean, do they have some type of built-in resistance? It almost kind of seems like they do, but maybe not. I don't know. It's interesting. I wonder about Knights of the Blazing Sun. They have flaming attacks. Let's look at Empire. Do the flaming attacks do the same thing? It says physical resistance. Doesn't say they're immune to fire. Let's curiosity. Does flaming damage also do it? Because then that means if you have access to the lore of fire, you could buff the people who are fighting the Thane with Flaming Sword of Ruin or Cascading Fire Cloak, if this works, and you could do extra damage against him as well, like using that on your Lord or something, if your Lord was attacking him, to do extra damage while those spells last. Let's fast forward and just see what happens. I want to watch him get charged by these guys, because similar to the Grail Knights, but still hilarious. Yeah, he gets plowed. Dwarfs just don't like cavalry, understandably. Let's see how these Knights do. Doesn't seem like it's... Now, he used his Potion of Toughness, but let's see what happens when it wears off. It didn't seem like it was doing near as much damage. And the Thane is doing more damage to them in return. Yeah, the flaming attacks are not the same. So scratch that. That's not working. So yeah, flaming attack, not going to be the same. Apparently, a lot of the value off these guys is still physical, because the Thane appears to be resisting it. Let's take a look at the greenskins. Haven't been over to the greenskins yet. Units that do magical attacks. So they're going to have their magic. That's one obvious one. And the Ethereal Thanes don't have any armor. And I want to say that this Night Goblin Shaman, or the Goblin Great Shaman, what do we want to do here? Let's do the Goblin Great Shaman. And if we use this Overcast Vindictive Glare, that ought to be somewhat effective. Let's try this one for curiosity's sake. Let's just see if Vindictive Glare does a good job. Yeah, I know I usually like edit out the loading screens. I just don't have time tonight, so I figure I could just try and carry on a conversation with you. Let's fast forward. I gotta build up my Winds of Magic because it started me with crap Winds of Magic. What's the overcasting this do? Increased number of missiles. And it uses more. Let's just do the standard one. Alright, let's try Vindictive Glare out. Wow, a bunch of them hit the ground. And I completely missed. Nice shot. Goblin Crate Shaman. Let's try it again. There we go. Oh yeah, that does great damage. Really nice damage. This spell used to recharge faster. I think they've nerfed it. It still recharges fairly quick. So you'd be able to target them repeatedly, assuming you had enough winds of magic, which I didn't start with good winds of magic this time. He's used his potion? No, he didn't use his potion, but that was just one hit. I'm gonna have to build up my winds of magic again. Oh, whoops. I thought that was Arcane Conduit. Oh well. Doesn't matter. Alright. Let's see what happens if we can get a second solid hit like that. It appears to be random, but when it does hit, it's going to do a lot of damage. So just something to keep in mind with that one. Last one I want to test is Foot of Gork. I don't think it's going to work because I think Foot of Gork is supposed to be good against multiple units. But I would sure like to know. Wurzag should have Foot of Gork. Yeah, there it is. Strong versus multiple units is Ed, but what about Brain Bursta? Large explosion. It says strong versus a single unit, not a single opponent. Let's bring Brain Bursta and Foot of Gork and see what we can do here. Yeah, we don't need any of these. Or yeah, that improved power recharge might be nice actually. Got our King Conduit. Let's jump into this and see how Wurzag is able to do with his magic. So like I said, hopefully this gives you all some good ideas. You can think about the armies you would want to take. So how would you best counter some of the dwarf infantry, and then how would you get your magical attacks actually in and used on the enemy lord. To test Foot of Gork, I really need this Thane to sit still. So I may actually go into combat with him and drop the Foot of Gork on him. It'll hit myself as well, but whatever. Let's just see what happens. Alright, Wurzag, let's do this. Wurzag's really not going to like fighting this guy in melee, but hey, whatever. Do an overcast Foot of Pain here. Should hit him. Yeah, it doesn't do jack. I don't even think it scratched him. Yep, so not an option with the Foot of Gork, and I don't think Brain Burst is going to do any different, so I'm going to go ahead and call this one good. You get the point. Use your magic attacks, and you should be in good shape. That's pretty much all there is to it. So look for units that have magic attack. Use that against ethereal units. That's really the most consistent and best way to bring them down. Hope this was useful. If you think I missed anything, please feel free to say so in the comments and help the people who are watching out. Appreciate you all watching. You're fantastic, awesome viewers. Appreciate MSI sponsoring this build that I'm recording with. It was awesome of them to give me that motherboard and help me have a good place to get the foundation, like I said. So this PC I'm recording with helps me bring you guys what I hope are awesome videos for you, and I appreciate their help. Appreciate you, like I said, and I will see you next time. HeirofCarthage, signing out.